Hey guys, this is Skullgrin, and this is Power of the Primes Jazz. So, this is one of the deluxe figures for the new lineup in the Powers of the Prime line. He basically is a combiner, just like the Combiner Wars figures. They seem to have done some mild improvements. Like now, the Combiner tab is covered a bit more by a chest front. There's more clear plastic involved. As you can see, he has clear headlights. Although the whole car shell here is all painted and is all one piece of plastic actually. And it's a little fragile and brittle and you have to be a little careful with it. But at least even this back piece here is painted but has the clear windows. The blue here is because they painted underneath in blue over there. The tab for the combiner seems to be a retool of drag strip, as you can see here, right? This is where he opens up to combine. He can have this come down for his Titan Master, Power Master engine. Well, Prime Master engine, that's what it would be called, right? And so, like, you can, I don't know, it's a little weird on Jazz. On Dreadwind, there was a peg hole over here, so it was easier to put it. But with this, I think that you had to use the thumbs of the power engine fist in order to lock it onto his chest like that. And see, yeah, I don't like it too much. It's a little weird. Another thing that I don't really like is that here where he tabs in the upper part, it's a little bit like thin and a little fragile, so you have to sort of be careful, and sometimes you have to struggle to get it in. And these joints can be like a little floppy because they don't ratchet, which is another thing I don't really care for on him. But overall, I think he's pretty good. I mean, they have done some improvements from the Combiner Wars figures. I feel like they upped the paint application a bit, and he has nice tampos on the arm. Of course, even this one here, and paint application over here. I kind of would have still preferred if maybe the car shell was a whole separate piece of plastic with the clear inserts, but they did a pretty good trick over here in order to make the headlights blue. So he has waist articulation, knee, hip. The feet can move upward a bit, no ankle tilt, shoulder articulation, elbow. He has mild wrist articulation, but it was almost like barely necessary. I'm glad that they put it though, like don't get me wrong, but it's kind of limited because of the fender of the car. The gun kind of has like a very simplistic hollowed out look. It seems to be like a reproduction of both Jazz's rocket launcher and pistol kind of like merged together. But at least they painted it in a nice silver, so I'm happy for that. That kind of ups the feel of quality for the weapon. The head is ball jointed and can turn up and down, left to right. It doesn't look up that high. It can only just tilt a little. But so let's see. We'll take a look at the engine before transforming him. This is his power engine, which also has this clear piece of plastic as a gun and becomes like the panel for this. He can take Prime Masters and slot them in to use as a power-up, like that. And of course, like here's the engine exhaust on the thing, and guess you could pretend that this is a gun. So I kind of prefer to treat these kind of like the guns that the Turbo Masters used to have, and like the Turbo Master Autobots. like sort of like engine guns. And I'm sort of hoping that if these figures do get repaints, that's how they get treated, sort of similar to the Turbo Masters. Another nice thing is that you can store guns on the thumbs if you want, like that. And another thing before I forget with the robot mode is you can also arm mount the gun, but it doesn't go that in. You can arm mount the power engine fist on the side as well, which I kind of prefer to do this because then it looks like it's sort of like something to enhance like physical strength or something. I don't really like putting them on the chests. I feel that it looks really stupid and awkward. I don't mind putting it on the arm. The only thing is Jazz is a little flimsy in the shoulders and in the legs sometimes. So he, you know, his arm barely holds the weight of the engine. And it can kind of get like a little annoying. I kind of wish that they had figured out a way to hinge this a bit. Mind you that because this uses clear brittle plastic, I guess that they didn't have that many options. They would have had to put an extra plastic for the car shell. And so it kind of explains why, probably due to budgeting reasons, they didn't do much of that. It holds up well without a weapon, but if you put a lot of weight, it'll just come down, which is rather unfortunate because otherwise, in my opinion, I feel he's a huge improvement to a lot of the Autobot combiners that they had made. Before I forget, you can also store the guns on the back here on 3 different 5mm pegs, which is pretty nice. Or you could put this here like that, and you can do this if you want, or you can flip it around and make it look like a rocket booster, like, you know, you could fly or something. So transformation, see, this is what I'm talking about. This whole part is all clear, and it's kind of a little fragile. Kind of feels like the original Jazz toy, actually. I kind of wish that... I'm glad with what they did, though. I mean, if it allowed clear plastic, which allowed windows for the vehicle, I feel that it's nice. One thing you'll have to watch here is that with this piece, if you try to put it in when it's up, it won't go in, so you have to do this. It fits better. But overall, you know, like some people might not feel that he's that great. But in my opinion, see, this part popped off because it's mostly just latched together, you know, like like without any hinges or anything like that. So there you go. That's what happens. But I'm kind of glad that they didn't put a pin over there because a pin would probably crack over time after several years of playing with it due to the clear plastic being more brittle. So I'm okay with what they did. Like, you know, it's a good engineering choices either way, right? And then this here, his head goes there, that goes like this. These open up. And as you can see, like, his transformation is not as simple as the Combiner Wars Autobots that were made before in the other Combiner Wars figures. The Combiner Wars figures got boring fast because their transformations were far too simple in order to deal with the combination gimmick, and the limbs were kind of like a little subpar. So it kind of got boring fast. These figures kind of do improve upon the problems that were with those first ones by adding some more transformation steps, by adding a bit of extra paint, clear windows, making the transformation a little more complex. Mind you, doing it like in maybe in some ways that's still cost cut, but not as badly as before. There we go. See, should have done it more before that part. But overall, I think that It is nice. I still feel that these are not as fun as the Tiny Returns figures. I preferred those a lot more. But for what we're getting and what they do with their budgets, in my opinion, it's actually quite good. I feel it's a good figure. Not bad. Transformation is a little more complex. I feel that considering that this has an engine design here, they could have maybe had put silver on the sides over there. And maybe they could have painted this piece in silver like on the promo in order to just up the quality a bit. Make it feel a little more, maybe even painting the fist black in order to give more separation on the parts. I still kind of wish that the windows and the car shell were two separate pieces, so that way they could have used solid plastic. It's not too much of a heavy big deal, it's in part due to saving money and probably cost cutting measures that they tend to use, but it overall looks good. The paint is nice. We have clear windows again, which is good. It's unfortunate that heads don't have light piping again like they used to, but it's still a start. We still got a slightly nicer deluxe than we did in Combiner Wars, just like how they sort of improved in Titan Masters. And you can put a Prime Master or a Titan Master onto his back like that. You could mount the engine like this on the back, right? Like a powered diesel engine, right? Which is kind of neat. I kind of feel like I'm getting almost like a Power Master Jazz, but in an odd sort of way. Maybe not in the way I would have expected, but still pretty cool. I kind of still wish that Hasbro had maybe thought about adding a groove or a latch so you can actually just put the Prime Master into the vehicle without the guy. I'm not sure if this tab here was meant for a Prime Master to sit, but it doesn't fit, so I really doubt that. And like before, you can either put the gun here on the side, you could put it there. He kind of feels a little like he's kind of reminiscent to me of Pretender Jazz and of, I guess, the quality of most of the Power Master figures, except for the fact that at least he actually has clear windows. Just mean how toys at that time had less chrome and die cast. Unfortunately, these are not painted in. Wish that was a factor. That would have looked a lot nicer. Would have given this toy a slightly better look, but it's all right in the overall sense. This, I don't know why it doesn't tab that well there. Maybe I don't know if I transformed it wrong, but you could see the seam on both ends. And you can also attach the engine on the back here like that. You can mount the clear gun over here if you want. I kind of treat this like an old school Power Master engine, but there we go. Kind of wish that. I'm fine that they made it in clear, but I kind of wish that they had maybe spray painted the top panel piece and just left the underneath clear or something, or could have painted in here with blue and left the rest in clear. I think that would have just made it look more interesting. There's no clear detail on it. Mind you, I guess you can always treat it like it's a panel window, but it's also supposed to double as a gun, so it doesn't make sense for a gun to be clear, even though yeah, it would be cool if it's a glass panel. Yeah, it does add a little bit of extra effect. If I wanted to paint the engine, I guess I would like to leave the clearness there, but it just kind of sucks as a gun engine piece, and it would have been nice if they had maybe painted the underneath. So it would feel like the Dinobots parts that have gold underneath, but have a clear window piece. So it would feel like a mechanical engine with a clear window over there. I'm a little disappointed in that. Maybe I'm gonna try to see. Maybe I'll try to find a matching blue and I'll paint the underneath or something on an extra. And of course, you can always store weapons on the sides here too if you want, which in some ways I think looks nicer, you know, like it can go up and down. So if you want to kind of like replicate that rocket launcher that Jazz has on the original toy, I suppose that this would be the best way to do it. The only thing is you can't really mount the engine in a place that would allow it to look that way in robot mode. And now we'll just get to the limb mode, I guess. So you you open this up, you separate the legs, you take this out here, yeah, put that there. You open up this part, snap this together. I guess that this, I never transformed it yet, so just excuse me if I'm a little daft on it. I guess you put that there, and then put this like this. You turn that, and you got your arm. I don't know if you lift that. That's why I feel kind of stupid here. But you can even do this if you feel that that's in the way. And I kind of like that because it kind of makes it feel like the car shell is a bulky armored piece. I kind of like his design. He kind of reminds me of like a white version of Crasher from GoBots. And unfortunately Hasbro doesn't have the GoBots license, because a retool into Crasher would actually be pretty neat for this figure. And double thumbs. Okay, so put the fist over here, and there you go. You got your hand, your arm, weapon hand that can peg into Voyager and Voyager combiners. I don't really bother with combining too much. I'm not too into the gimmick, because I don't feel like they hold together that well. So I'm just gonna show the arm. I only have Starscream, and I don't really have him in the limb mode right now. So, you know, just give you an idea of what the arm is like and how it would feel. And so yeah, like you can only get an elbow articulation this way on the arm. I feel that he does make a pretty menacing, imposing type of arm though, which I'm surprised. I mean, if they repaint this into a Decepticon or even like a Stunticon or something, or another Autobot, it would look pretty badass. I think that this guy would look good on Menasor if he was repainted and retooled into another guy. They can even maybe make him into that Micromaster that used to have the space shuttle called Skystalker, because Jazz's head actually looks like Skystalker's. And it would work quite well. It feels like a brutal, intimidating arm. Yeah, still kind of don't like this, but you know, it's a compromise. It's not bad in the overall sense, but I kind of wish Hasbro would figure out a way to make the arms feel more cohesive. At least here, all these parts are more well hidden than they were on the other limbs. I mean, if you were messing around with Mirage or Dragstrip, his arms would have to go in a stupid position instead of really, like, you know, becoming a separate piece that would look more like a shoulder or something like that to give the impression of an actual arm. So I feel that this is a big improvement. It's a lot better. It would look much better as an arm. If they were to do Menasor now, something like this would work a lot nicer than what they did with the first Stunticons. So I do like this. I mean, I kind of wish I had taken the time to do some comparisons, but I feel it's a big improvement. It's a large improvement compared to Combiner Wars. I feel it's a lot more fun, a lot nicer. Jazz really does feel classy. It would have been nice if maybe the bumpers here had had a bit of extra paint, like silver and maybe like red or blue here, to complete the feel of the look, but you know, outside of the paint application, I don't feel that is that bad. And this goes down like this to make the leg, which once again, like I was saying, I mean, yeah, sure, okay, this is a hanging off piece, which can maybe be annoying to some people. I'm not sure if it, oh, okay, it does have a latch over there, but it might scratch off the blue paint at the tips, by the way, so I don't know. But it's a little, I mean, they don't make pegs that wide anymore. They make them thin and tabby again like they used to back in the day. And I guess if you put too much force, they could still break. But overall, at least like it tabs in somewhere. Maybe not in the most secure of ways, but secure enough. You get a hollow gap over here afterward, but you know, could forgive that. But it makes a decent leg. See, here's the knee. This becomes like a nice car shell front, which, like I said, this would have worked a lot better for the Stunnicons. And can't even put that, so I'll see if I can find Starscream's foot, and we'll put that. There we go. It doesn't peg in tightly for some stupid reason. It's not sized right. It's a little loose. Go figure. Oh, damn it, man. That is a real fucking killjoy. But there we go. You know, ankle tilt, turning left and right. So kind of better than Combiner Wars, except for the fact that you have like a little bit of free space over there. But I don't know why it's so loose instead of securing tightly like it should have. And that is a real disappointment, in my opinion. Like, I mean, that shouldn't be. It should be like it should plug in tightly, but it doesn't. And it's not that I mistransformed it or anything, because this whole piece is all one part there. It just doesn't hold, which is strange, because it does make a great foot. Like, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, if you could call it a foot, you know, but it's pretty good. I like that it has the front here. It feels more like maybe this is how Hasbro should deal with doing something like Swindle or Brawl in a way, to get that look that Brooke has had in the cartoons. And of course, you could cover up the clear area there with the power engine if you want, and make it hug to the thing here. And you can even use this as a heel spur for the foot to take this out, which is great. Like, you know, at least Hasbro put more thought into the combiners. There we go. There's a heel spur for the gigantic foot, an engine heel spur. And, you know, that also kind of helps, because otherwise the feet look a little too small. There, you know, there we go. Foot engines. So yeah, you know, I kind of prefer their philosophy for the feet now. I kind of still feel like, I don't know, like, you know, G1 had gigantic feet. Kind of fit better with blocky, like, legs than small feet like this do. But it's not bad. It's a little bit better. You can even, like, you know, it's a nice merging of the Power Master gimmick with combiners, as you can put the Prime Master. I don't know why on Starscreams it doesn't hold well. I guess I'm gonna have to pledge future floor polish it, but it might fit better on Dreadwind. But there we go. But let's see, boom. So I give this guy maybe like a 7 out of 10. The reason why I don't give it more is because I feel that this piece here is brittle, and while it's great that they did it, and I mean, I would want them to keep doing something like this to allow the figures to have clear windows again and everything. I feel that I would have liked if they had added a bit of extra plastic, so that way at least the hip tabs would have been a little tighter, more well held. and stuff like that. I don't like the hollowness on the gun, but at least they added enough detail to compensate for it and they spray painted it. I'm kind of tired of getting headlights at the back of cars that don't get painted in, or hubcaps on characters who should have a silver hubcap not getting the silver hubcap. For some people, maybe this guy might be a little too simple, and they would probably prefer the older generations Jazz, the RTS one. But in my opinion, this is actually a good deluxe, considering like the compromises that they had to make a limb at a deluxe price point, add an engine, and things like that. It's not bad at all. It could have maybe used a few more paint applications. Maybe they could have done something to make the hip joint a little stronger and a little less flimsy by adding some extra parts there to make that hip not fall down when it carries the engine. So that way it would work in line with the rest of the gimmicks on the toy. But otherwise, I think he's good. He looks great. He just might need like a little bit of extra paint to bring out some of the really good details that they put on him. Like, the engine vents here, the back end of the car. These engine parts on the sides. But otherwise, lots of good paint application work here. Lots of good deco work on these parts and on this side here. Very much feels like Jazz. I like it. And like I said, it also kind of feels like a nod to Crasher in a way. Very slick feel, very classy, which works with Jazz, even though it's not the same exact type of car like what Jazz used to be. But I like it. I think it looks really good. All right, that's it. Click and subscribe for more reviews, which will be coming soon. And that's Skullgrin out.